Hey guys, I'm back today with another Redstone tutorial. Yay, I've made one. I'm making one. It's been 2 months, but I'm making one now, so it's okay, I guess. Uh, so this is my first 5x5 cave door. The animation is pretty nice, I think. Also, it's layout size, so it's a really compact one. And then so now I'm gonna show you the opening and the opening and the closing. So here's the closing and here's the opening. Alright, so now that you've seen this, let's move on to the tutorial. Alright, so you're going to want to start with the 11 by 5 area. Um, this is your floor level right here, and this is the place where you're going to be putting all your redstone. So now I'm going to go through the layout of the door because it might be a little confusing. I know it was for me, and I got really confused when I was trying to put this door together for the first time. I had to do a lot of testing with the redstone blocks to make sure it was actually working. So what you're gonna do is count one block in. So you go to the center block, right? Count one block in, and then take out these 3 blocks on the side, and then your bottom 3 pistons will go in here like that, and then just put your floor block on top of that, and then behind this last piston right here, this is where a double extender is going to be going. So break this redstone floor block over here. I guess that's the best way I can put it. And then put your double extender right there and put your floor block on top of that. So from the side, it looks like this. By the way, this is the front of the door over here. So now let's move on to the sides. So what you're going to do for the sides is you're going to go here. Look at you see this bottom corner block right here. Take that out and then kind of go up diagonally until you're in the center of the doorway, and then go back out, but go upwards so it looks like this. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go around to the back and place some temporary blocks there. Put your pistons in the gaps, and then kind of make this zigzag pattern. Break blocks where necessary, I guess. And then so after you've got all your side pistons, just fill in the wall again. And then next, around this last piston over here, break these 3 blocks. And then you don't even need, well actually you do, but just put one temporary block right there, and then put in your double extenders like this. And then cover that up. So now we have one side finished, and just take out that temporary block over there. Now we have one side finished, and now we're going to go on to the other side. The other side is the exact same thing. Just break these like so, and then usually I would also break these just because I can see better and it's easier to place the pistons. So this is how I would place the pistons. Just like that. And then cover this back up. Place your temporary block here. Break these 3 blocks around the center block of the doorway, and then put your double extenders in like that. Alright, so now all we have left to do is the top. So first, what I would do is I would put a block right there, and then so this is basically a mirror image of the bottom. So again, you count one block in and break this block, and then actually no, don't break that block. Break the blocks around this block, and that's why we place this block right here, so we can put all our pistons in easily, if I can aim correctly, that is. And then cover that up, go to the top, place a block on top of this, the farthest piston back, and then put your double extender just like that. Now put a temporary block on top of the double piston extender, and then um, put down your triple piston extender like that. And then that's the layout of your door. If it was a little confusing, you can just pause and rewind the video when you need to. So yeah, now we're gonna go into the wiring. Alright, so your input is this green block right here, and just slap a lever onto it, or run a repeater input into it. It has to be a repeater, or something that can strongly power this block, because there will be redstone over here. So redstone dust will not work. So now to power these 3 bottom pistons, don't fall, but count 1 block in from the front and break that block. Now put a redstone torch on the side of that, and then just replace that block. And I need to get my cyan wool back. So now what you're gonna do is don't flick this lever off, because it'll make it a little easier to build the door and not have to worry about weird piston crap and stuff. That was a really weird sentence, but that's not the point. So what you're gonna do is put some redstone dust on these blocks over here. So I'm just gonna replace them with cyan wool. You can use whatever block you want, and then put so 3 redstone dust like in this shape, like an L shape, and then put a 1 tick repeater, and then put a block in front of that, and then place a torch here, and then that's basically your extension of your double extender. That's pretty much it. And then so put a block here and put a sticky piston with a block on top of it, and then this is your falling edge monostable circuit. And then so break these 2 blocks and then put a 4 tick repeater and a 2 tick repeater. This is gonna be what's gonna retract the block. This is the final retraction. And then so come onto this side and then break these 3 blocks. Place 2 pieces of redstone dust and then a repeater right there. And then put a block in front of that, and then put a redstone torch on the side, and then place a 2 tick repeater over here. And this is your pulse extender, so it makes sure that this piston retracts before this piston does, so it actually works. So now our bottom is already complete, as you can see. So just leave that lever off for now, because it will be a little easier to do the sides. Okay, so now place a piece of redstone dust right here, and then put a redstone torch on the side of this block, and then do a little kind of weird torch tower thingy over here. So place a block on top of that torch, and then place a torch on the side of the block, then place another block on top of that torch, and then place a torch on the side of the block. Jesus Christ, this is hard to say. So now this piston is extended, but what we really want is for these 3 pistons and this piston to also extend, and also that one. So this circuit actually takes care of a lot of the extension. So just place 3 blocks here in an L shape, and then put 2 pieces of redstone dust like that, and then place a 4 tick repeater with a block in front of it. So now we pretty much almost have all of the extension. Now what we need to do is we need to put a piece of redstone dust. So this torch is going to power this piece of redstone dust, which is going to power this block, which is going to turn this redstone torch off. Right now, this redstone torch is powering this piston right here, which extends the block into its correct position. And then so next, you take, actually, let's leave that for later because that's part of the retraction. So what you're gonna do now is put a block in front of this torch and put a piece of redstone dust on top of it, and then put a repeater facing forwards. Place the repeater on one tick, and then place a block in front of that repeater and put a redstone torch on top of it. And then put a block on top of that torch, and then put a repeater on the side so that it powers this piston. Now, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna place another piece of redstone dust there, and like that, and then just kind of make this little zigzaggy thingy, and then that's your entire extension. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to put an upside down half slab so that the redstone current runs up it, and then place a 4-tick repeater, a block in front of that repeater, and then place a redstone dust on top of it, and then place a block on top of this repeater and put a 1-tick repeater running out of that, and then this repeater will power a redstone dust and then block this current off because you don't want this to connect. And then take a regular piston and put it right there so that it updates this piston, or so it updates this piston at the correct time. And then so now one of your left side is already done. Actually, it's not. I just forgot something. Sorry about that, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna place a 2-tick repeater here, and then place a block in front of that, and then place a torch over here, and then place a 4-tick repeater, and then over here you're gonna place a redstone dust, and then this redstone dust will power this block, which will turn this torch off, and put a block on top of that torch. And so now it's complete. So let's try it out. And as you can see, it's pretty fast. Like usual for my doors, it's not the fastest in the world, but I think it's decent. I think it looks pretty cool actually. So this is the animation for the extension. And then so now we're just gonna do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So you're gonna place a piece of redstone dust here, and then do your little torch tower thing like this, and then place your L shape there, 2 pieces of redstone dust, 4-tick repeater, and block in front of that repeater. And then you're gonna take an output from this torch and run it into a redstone repeater, and then bring that up into another repeater with a torch. Like you bring the current up with a torch into the repeater. I kind of worded that weirdly, so. And then place the redstone dust on top of that block, and then do this weird zigzag shape. And then place 1 block here and place redstone on top of these 4 blocks right here. Alright, now you place a piece of redstone dust over here, which is taking an output from this torch, and then you put a block in front of that and you put a torch on the side. And then so 2-tick repeater here and block in front of that repeater, and then torch on the side, 4-tick repeater here, and then you take redstone dust right there, and then you run it in, you make it power this block, which is going to unpower this torch at the right time, and then put a block on top of that. And now what you're gonna do is the retraction for the top piston, top double extender. And then so what you're gonna do is you're going to take an output. You're gonna take a current. Let me say that again. You're going to run this current up here and then into a 4-tick repeater and a 1-tick repeater. Actually, that's not how it goes. You put a redstone dust there, and then you take a 1-tick repeater output from that, and then you put down a redstone dust and you block the socket because you don't want it to connect. And then so you place a piston like that to update the sticky piston at the right time. And then so now that's almost all of your door. Now you just need to do the top section. So for this part, I would recommend keeping this off or opening the door. So just flick your lever on. And then so now what you're gonna do is you're going to put a 3-tick repeater there and put 3 redstone dust like that, and then put a comparator here. This will be used for later, but we just don't want it to power this piston. Honestly, you actually don't need this right now, but since I've already put it down, I'll just keep it there. And then now what you're gonna do is you're gonna put a upside down half slab like that, and you're gonna run an input over here like that, and then over here as well, and then you put an upside down half slab here, and then 2 4-tick repeaters. And actually this one has to be a half slab because we're gonna put a block over here, so this will extend this pulse, but we don't want it to, or not the pulse, but we want it to extend the length of the current. And then so we don't want it to go back down here because otherwise it will turn into an infinite loop, and that's not good. So there we go. That's almost all of your extension. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a half slab, run this redstone up, and put a 1-tick repeater there, and so that's all of your extension actually. So we can just try that out right now. That's all of your extension except for these 3 pistons at least. We'll do that later while we're doing the retraction circuit. So yeah, this is how it works right now at least. And then so this is what happens right now, and that's not what we want to happen. So what we're gonna do is we're going to place a dropper and a hopper monostable right here. This is used for later, and then we're just put and random item in there, doesn't really matter, and then just run some redstone dust up there and block this off. And then you might be wondering, well, doesn't it stop the current from reaching this repeater? No, because 1.9 is stupid, and they changed how the textures look, but they didn't actually change the behavior of redstone going up slabs. So in 1.8, this would have still looked like a dot, and that's how it acts. It acts like a redstone dot, but they changed the texture to make it connect up like this, which I think is really stupid. I think they should just change it back. Also, while we're on the subject of textures, I don't like this weird glitchy stuff over here. I think they should just change the textures to how they used to work in the texture pack, but you know, that's just my opinion. I don't know about you guys. So now let's continue on with the door. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna place a block there with a redstone dust, and then you're gonna put a half slab there because you don't want it to power this. And then a 4-tick repeater like that. And then you're going to place a comparator there. That's used for the final retraction of the double extender. And then now what you're going to do is so you're going to come over here and use this as your input for this part. So place a torch on the side of that block, and then place 2 blocks like that, and then place a half slab there to stop it from butting this piston. And then so you place the redstone dust there and two repeaters that are on 2 ticks. So in total it's 4 ticks. In case you couldn't add, which I'd kind of be scared if you didn't, unless you're like 2 or something. But anyway, so you're gonna place two redstone dust like this, and then this is what's gonna power this circuit eventually. And then come over here and place a repeater there, and then put 2 more pieces of redstone dust. Go up a block, and place a dropper hopper, and just put some random item in there. And then take a comparator output of that. And we're gonna wait on this part for a little bit while we do the rest of the double. Or not the double, but like this side over here with the comparator. So you're gonna take a output from this redstone dust, and then you're just gonna keep going upwards, and then put a piece of redstone dust there, and then put a repeater like that. And this is what's gonna power these 3 single extenders right there. And then so put a dropper right here, and put a unstackable item. So, and then put a hopper facing into it. And then so the reason this is an unstackable item is because we want a signal strength of 3, so it can reach all the way over there. So now that we're done with that, let's move on to this part. So what you're gonna do is put a block in front of there, and then you're just gonna put two repeaters just like this, with a block in between each of them, and then go over here and place a piece of redstone dust on the side, and then block this off because you don't want that to mess with this. You don't want this circuit to mess with this part. And then so place a repeater in front of that, and then go up a block, and then place a torch on the side, and then place a piece of redstone dust here, and then this is going to be a torch burnout circuit. So yeah, it's for the retraction. And then so place a piece of redstone dust right there, and then a repeater right there, and then place a block on top of this redstone dust so this powers this part. So now the entire door should be complete, and so let's just try it out. And it doesn't work. I wonder why. I'm not sure. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I discovered the reason it didn't work. For some reason, I guess it didn't like it when I put something in there, so I kind of had it in my inventory. So that's why it didn't work. So now it should work fine, and it does. So I guess you can get rid of all this stuff over here if you wanted to. At least if you're building it in air anyway, because if you're building it like somewhere if you're building it underground, then that's probably not a good idea, because you'll have to clear out a lot of stuff, and it's kind of a pain. And then if you don't want to, if you had trouble with making this door and you don't want to break it again, just don't mess with it ever again, because because it might break or something. If you accidentally break something and then you forget about it, like I just broke this block over here because it was quartz and I wanted it to be wool. Because I am weird like that. So let's just see it one more time just for fun. And then so now you can like put like a frame around it or something like this. And I'm just using quartz because I have no decoration skills and I suck. If you want like a light source in here, just like replace this with a piece of glowstone or a sea lantern or something. Actually, I'm replacing it with a sea lantern because I like sea lanterns. Sea lanterns are like my favorite light block now. I use them for everything. Just cause they look so nice with the quartz. So that's all I've got for today. So until next time, see you later.